Right then guys, welcome to another episode of Hooked. My name's Joe Murray and I'm an angling addict. Today you join me down on the banks of the River Derwent, again at Stamford Bridge, but this time we're doing something slightly different. We're going to be doing a bit of trotting. Hopefully we'll catch a few chub today, but you never know, we might get into the odd barbel or two. So I've set up one stick float rod. I'm only out for a couple of hours. We've got 5 pound line straight through, a 4No. alloy stem stick by John Allerton, and we've got a bulk of number 8 shots, just about 8 or 9 inches from the hook. Dead simple rig. We're going to be fishing hemp, caster, maybe some meat, and I've got some red maggots as well to have a go at. So without further ado, let's get started. Really quick session this one. Just got the bait apron, the rod, a few casters, hemp. That's all in the bait apron down there. So hopefully you can see that. Just got them casters in the bag, some hemp seed in another bag in the pouch down there, and we're just going to be feeding that in for the time being. Got a few cubes of meat with me as well. Reels of close face Abu 507 Mark II, and the rod's 14 foot Acolyte Plus. So I'm just going to be trotting pretty much on the crease. It's a good flow out there today. There's a little bit of extra water in the river, so it's not ideal, but that is a fish. Oh, that was a fish straight away there. Bumped it off. Felt a decent fish, so it looks like we could be in for a few. That was first chuck in, so we'll start getting a bit of feeding. Just feeding slightly downstream of me. Don't want the fish to come too high up. Go with double caster again. I've also brought some stronger line just in case. Got some 8 pound if we can't hold on to these fish with the 5. It's the first time I've ever been able to get into this peg. Can't believe it's available, to be quite honest. It's a Sunday. I'm very busy out there. But oh well. That's not really the sort of fish we were hoping for to start with. Minnow. So we might have to feed a few of them off. Good grief, how on earth did he get that all the way down his throat? Double caster, and he had one right down the back of his mouth. Just keep that bait flowing through. Look like another bite there. A lovely weed bar down the inside of here. Got the rig set about 3.5 foot deep at the moment. Not caught bottom yet, but we can always adjust that. Maybe go down a bit deeper, or even shallow up. If there's going to be a lot of small fish down here, I may get straight onto the meat and try trotting a cube of that. Such a lovely trot this. Just mend the line, keep it checking down the river nicely, and stay in contact with that float. That's a bite. Of course, the beauty with a stick float is if you miss a bite you can just correct the line and carry on trotting down. Got a size 14 wide gape hook on. Quite large, but then we're fishing for fairly big fish. I think my wade has sprung a leak. Got a wet foot. Wonderful. Ooh, that's a good fish. Hooked into something decent here. It's a good fish. I was not expecting that. I thought I'd hook bottom for a second there. Just got him on the back line. Not relying on the clutch right now. Oh my goodness, he's running. Trying to find a snag. Still on though. I can't make a lot of progress on him right now. I don't know what this is. Could be a barbel. I remember fun and games landing him in here. My God, I can't move him. It's definitely still on. Don't know what he's got into there. I think he's in some weed. I think he's coming. At least he was. Oh my goodness. Floats right up at the top of the rod here. What's going on? Oh, we're in all sorts of trouble. I think he's found some weed down there. I think the float's pulled right up the rod. I think I'm just going to have to give him some slack. So I'm not entirely sure what we can do about this now the float's stuck. Just going to have to let some slack go here. I think we've lost him. I have to handball it, try and get the float, pull it down. Yeah, it's gone. Never mind. Wasn't a great deal I could do about that there. How that float managed to work its way right up that line, I don't know. The line was right across the river. Must have pulled it back through weed. Well, I guess we'll start again. So we'll set back up. Seems the fish in this river have a habit of finding the snags. They seem to find them more than I get them out. It is very weedy. I'm not entirely sure what I do about it, to be quite honest. Short of fishing beast gear. There doesn't seem to be any stopping them. But I think the £5 line's probably about right. We were unlucky. It found its way into the weed on the bottom or something down there. There's a fish. Small fish. Lovely little dace, but just starting to put a bit of meat through now as well. There we go. Another dace. So the dace seem quite small. I don't think the barbel are. They do have some power though, even the small ones. Just get out into the main flow a little bit more this time. It's really got some pace on it out there. The number 4 isn't strong enough for that part of the flow really. Not to hold back. You need a bigger float on than this with a fairly chunky bulk. If you just fish to the crease, then you're not too bad. That bait's gone straight away, so I think what we'll do, we'll try the meat now. Just a small cube of meat. I'm just going to hook it through like that. That's all we need to do. Something having a go at the meat. There's a lot of small minnows attacking the float. Don't know why they do that. Must think it's food. They're just trotting down that nice slow little run down the inside. Meat's still on. Come on, Mr. Chub. Just slows off as it gets down the inside there. Just running into a little snag or two, maybe a bit of weed. We'll just trip bottom on the inside. Okay, nothing on the meat so far, so we'll go back on the double caster. Even big fish eat double caster. A few more down the run. Just keep it going in. In fact, we'll go for a treble caster. See if there's a greedy fish out there. That was a bite. We'll strip 2 of those 3 casters off the hook. That's the downside of fishing this small bait. It's getting attacked by a lot of small fish as well. You just never know. The next thing you look into could be a barbel like we just lost. I'm saying it was a barbel. I don't think a chub would have done me. Not quite as hard as that. Really running down the floor now. Just need to mend the line a bit more. It's just tracking across the river as it gets down. Well down there now. Yeah, no bite on that run. Yeah, we're just destroying the caster. There's a beautiful view down there. You can see that on the camera, just underneath the bridge. Stunning. It'd be even nicer if I didn't have a welly full of water. I think something took that on the drop. So we'll just fade, follow it up with an handful. As we hold back, we should be going through with that bunch of caster that we've just fed in. There we go. Oh, come off. Oh, just held back then, something dabbed at it, felt it on the end of the line. There we go. Ah, better fish. Chublet, I think. He's making a beeline for the inside weed. We're going to have to get hold of him. Ah, quality dace. Beautiful fish. Yeah, that's a nice fish. Happy catching them. Straight away he dived down for the inside weed here on the weed bar. It's no wonder you can't stop some of these bigger fish really. Oh, there we go, another fish. Beautiful. Only a babby. Just hoping one of them lovely chublies comes and sees us. Oh, just mending the line then and something has grabbed it. Getting bites left, right and centre here. Stick some more bait through. Always flowing out of the swim. You think how quickly I'm trotting down there, and the bait's moving all the time. what makes it out anyway. Don't get et. So we're just trying to entice quality fish up. Okay, if we can't catch continuing to run through like this, we'll maybe put a bigger float on, get a bit more weight down the line, and just enable me to hold back a bit out into that main flow. Just slow its journey down, which might just help us. Just try to stay out of that main flow. Just keep on that crease. It's where a lot of food gets washed down the outsides. That is a good bite. Fish on. Another dace. Not yet, but that's what I'm hoping for, to be quite honest. I'll get absolutely wet through by the end of the day, won't I? I've got a leaking wader, so I've got wet feet. That's a dace, yeah. Beautiful dace, yeah. Fat one, actually. He's gone. Struggling for a bite on those couple of runs through. Maybe some bigger fish are moving in. Right, I think this trot will try a lump of meat. Down she goes. Let's see what happens. Whoa, there we go. On the meat. Yes. Try not to fall over this time. Oh, big dace. Big dace. That's a cracking dace. Greedy fish. Big old meat. Back he goes. Funny how the meat sorts out the better fish. Try trotting that down again. Got a few cubes out again. Just cut back on the feed a minute while we try and attempt a bite on this meat. Might just be pushing the fish down a bit. Let them come and search. I think I'm just going to increase the float size, try and hold a bit further out and run down that line. And if not, it may just keep our bait down a bit further, trying to avoid some of these smaller fish. So it's fairly straightforward to do on the stick. Just select a bigger float really and use the same rubbers and add a couple of shots. Right, I'm just going to switch it up onto one of these 3BB Drennan alloy sticks. So I don't know if you can see that, but slightly bigger float. Probably half as big again as the one we've currently got on. See if that helps. That's the stick we've currently got on, the John Allerton shouldered stick, and it's got a lovely big shoulder for holding back against, but it's probably just not big enough in this flow. So we're just going to try this style of stick. I've got some of these bigger Allerton ones with the big shoulder on, so I may even move up onto that. We'll just have to see how we go. So just slide the rubbers off. That float's removed. Took that in my bait apron. Pop this one on. It's the beauty of stick floats. Quite easy to change. Of course, with a waggler you need a waggler adapter or a float adapter. There, that's the float on. Now we just need to add a bit more bulk. Of course, the other option is always you can overshot it and hold back hard and the float will still ride up. Just I prefer it to not be overshotted if I can help it. And sometimes when rivers are flowing really hard, that's the only way you can go. So we've got a fairly hefty bulk on that now. So that's about 6 number 4 in total. So there should be about 12 number 8 on there. I'm not going to count them. I'll go straight out with the mate and see how it rides. May need to adjust it. I'm going to take one off or add some more on. Something having a dabble at the float straight away. Right, okay, so that's riding quite high in the water, so we can get a bit more shot capacity on that. So it takes a bit more than it's stated. So I'm prepared to put at least 1 or 2 more shots on that. Okay, I'm hoping that's done the trick now. That is a big old bulk. So I know you're probably sick of hearing me bang on about it. If you enjoyed the videos, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and smash that notification bell so you don't miss a video every time I upload an episode. There we go. First fish on the new setup. Still a dace. Starting to really feed heavy now, because I don't have a lot of time and I may as well try and feed some of these fish off. The danger is we send them too far downstream. But we'll get some hemping. That's pretty heavy, so it gets down quite nicely. Oh yes, fish on. That was more out in the main flow there. Just a dace. A nice fish. Not quite as good as the one we took on meat, but I'm happy with that. Lovely. I don't know about you guys, but is there anything better than trotting a float down a river on a beautiful day like this? If you think this is the purest form of fishing, let me know in the comments down below. They might not always be big, but they are beautiful. Just want to get you some chub out. Maybe just a bit fast that run. Can get into that flow a bit more now, but maybe not quite as far as what we were going there. I'll just get onto the edge of it. That's fast enough there. It runs through that little section lovely. Staying in contact with the float. Just easing it off the reel. Just give it a flick and it comes off the closed face nicely. That went through beautiful through there, but did not seem to get a bite. So either feeding heavy's pushing fish downstream a bit, in which case we've just got to wait for them to come back up, to come searching. Okay, we missed a bite there. Yeah, that's a fish. Nice fish. I think it's another quality dace. Yeah, it's another dace. It's a big one. Beautiful fish. He's got a leech on him. Get that off. I want a leech, I'm not sure what it was, some kind of parasite. Feeding heavy and just moving into that flow a bit more seems to be bringing some better quality fish. I'll keep a bit of meat going in as well. Maybe target the odd chub or two. Heavy on the hemp seed. Get the right line, you get a really nice trot through the middle. Can't hold it for long. Just push back to the left a bit, back towards the weeds, and then the run's over really. Sometimes you can get straight down. So no bite that time out. Just pull it back onto the edge where I want it. Just where it's starting to boil there. Little boils on the crease. Aloe stem sticks perfect for it, and there you go. Another dace. Absolutely destroyed those casters. Size of him. Tiny little fish. He's gone. Nothing left of the bait. Just lay it in. Try and hit that crease where I want it. Just going beyond it slightly and then coming into it. Something's got hold of that because it's lifted the bulk up, I can tell. Yeah, it's gone. So I suppose that's the beauty of the heavier bulk. You can see when something's got hold of the float, it's getting a slight lift bite on it. Just a little bit far out there. Try and mend that line, get straight behind it. Just going down river. Just feed a bit out. It's gone. Yeah, fish. A lovely little dace. So we've only been done once. We haven't had any big fish on since we lost that one, which I strongly suspect was a barbel. Just had too much about him. Just lay that float in. Once again, hitting that crease just around that edge where it's boiling. It's got to be the perfect place. Get a really nice run through there. That's gone. Ah, yeah. Getting some quality dace down there now. Not quite so big that one, but this is lovely fishing. Really starting to get some hemp seed in. Just trying to lure the odd bigger fish into the swim. I'm not sure I want to hook a barbel again. Not on this setup. We'll come back another day. Try again for those barbel on the tip. Another minnow. Cheeky little things. How on earth a minnow gets an entire caster down its mouth? I mean, it's as big as its front fins, and there was two on that hook. So absolutely incredible. There we go. Yeah, we're in the kill zone. That was a bite, right where I said. They're just hanging that sort of 10-15 yards downstream. Right in a real sort of, just eases off in the middle of the river. It sort of slows down. The fish just seems to be sat there. Just runs through it real nice. Don't do that at home. Yeah, another fish. Little puppy. It seems a little bit tricky trying to get through these smaller fish, despite giving them plenty of food. Combine the hempen caster now because I'm starting to run low. Yeah, lift bite, hits it. Saw that pop up, I thought, right, I'm having that. Oh, fish on. Good fish on. Need to hang on to him. Can't give him an inch this time. Could be the chub we've been waiting for. Yes, big old rubber lips. Come here. What a cracking chub. That is what we came for. Really happy with that. Cracking chub. Beautiful. Happy with that. That makes it worth getting your feet wet for. Well, we go from the sublime to the ridiculous. Back on the minnows. That's the thing with the river, you just never know what is going to turn up next. Oh, yeah, hit one down there, small fish. That's why you get a lot of unhittable bites with these minnows. If you don't get out in the water, you'd have a nightmare landing them chub in here. It'd be almost impossible to reach them with a net without having to pull them through this weed bar. Don't seem to buy a bite on the meat at the minute. I've got some red maggots left from yesterday's match at Southfield Reservoir. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. I'll link it up here. We'll just feed a few of these maggots in, because I need to get rid of them. I've about had it. Not lasting long in this weather when you had them outside for a day. We'll just feed some of them small fish off. And then put a few big ones on the hook. Really get some bait in there. You never know, it might just tempt a barbel in. So we go with treble, because they're probably a little bit more resilient than caster are to getting mullered by the small fish. Oh, oh dear. 3 maggots on the hook and we catch a minnow. That is ridiculous. So maybe they're not much more resilient to small fish than the caster. Right, let's try 5. 5, right. We've got 5 on the 14. Yeah, hooked into something on the 5 maggots. It's not a huge fish, but it feels like a decent stamped dace. Well, has he got eyes bigger than his belly or what? Okay mate, back you go. So if you've been following the channel for a while, you'll notice that we're now over 1,000 subscribers. So thanks to everybody who's subscribed. What that means is that I can get a community tab now, and that's a bit like Facebook for YouTube. So that should be appearing on the channel very shortly, and we'll be able to have a bit more interaction there. Have a few polls, ask you a question. You can ask questions back, I think. So yeah, hopefully there'll Be a few more things popping up on there, the odd photograph and tidbits about fishing. And there's a little something for you. These waders I'm wearing, they're the ProLogic Light Pros, I think they call them. There ain't much pro about them. This is the third time out of the bag and my right leg is absolutely soaked. So I would not recommend these to anybody. This river's very different further downstream, gets deeper, a lot slower. There are some good fish throughout its length, but you've got to be patient to go and have a go for them. I'm afraid I'm not that patient. I can't sit around stalking for too long. I don't mind doing it on the Trent when I'm all set up with the gear and the bivvy and the home comforts. Not on these little rivers. I'd rather come and do a bit of this for a few hours. Get the fix. Although catching minnows don't do much for it. I don't know. How do we tempt anything better in? Put some right bait in there now. We've tried all sorts. We hooked one good fish early on, and then we've had that nice chub out now, so they haven't been a disaster. Oh, hooked into something down there. Just feeding some meat in. Pick the rod up. Fish on. Yeah, nice dace. Quality. Oh, and he's off. Keeping a bit of meat flowing through. Still haven't given up on that. Got about an hour left. Yeah, small fish. They're quite fat, some of these minnows. Decent size then. So many people fish pellet on this river now. Well, every river. It's another nice dace though. Beautiful. Oh yes, that's a good fish. Let's get hold of him. Can't give him an inch. Could be a barbel this. Ah, he's off. Shame that. Hook just pulled. Probably gave him too much pressure, but I just had to let him find a snag. Hit that at the bottom of the run as well. I'm just hanging back down by the bridge. Wondered what was happening there. Float was towing across the river like it was blowing across. Wasn't tracking right. Minnow on. It's just so crazy that 1 minute you've hooked into a massive barbel and the next it's a minnow. You really do need the animal gear on to get them out though. You'll get less bites. Right, well I'm about out of Empen caster. Couple more handfuls. We've got a few maggots we can use up. And the meat. Yeah. Another dace. So we'll go with 5 maggots on the hook again. Seems to be the way to go. Really going to pile them in. So we've got about half an hour before I need to make a move. Maybe a little bit longer, 45 minutes. I still want to try the meat, a few trots through. See if we can't at least get one more chub out. Well, they're going in nicely. A lot of fish coming up for the maggot. There we go, fish on. Small one. Well, that's incredible. Minnow. How on earth has he managed that? 5 maggots and he's next to the lot. That is just unbelievable. Let's try and get 6 on. Seven maggots. We are trotting a maggot ball. Tiny fish. Ah, my word. I can't actually believe these minnows can get 5 maggots, even 7 maggots down the mouths. Well, I've had drier days. That's my waders.